I'm telling this information to everyone I know who just had a baby, that please get your vitals checked. And for women, there is another thing called periods, right? So periods are always associated with emotional mood swings.
So listen to your body, listen to your brain, listen to your heart.
Yeah.
Your body is continuously sending signals.
And you will not believe the number of women who replied to me saying, exactly, Aditi, same.
This podcast is going to be about hello and namaskar to all you lovely people. Today in this podcast, I have Aditi, and this podcast is going to be about health. So, Aditi, health is, as they say, health is wealth.
Yes.
Health is very important as we grow older, and when the body is reacting to the nature, the cells, the tissues, and the organs, they also go through wear and tear. So, in this wear and tear, we forget what is required to keep them refreshed, to keep them rejuvenated, to keep them functioning the way they were when we were kids. I have used the word as we are growing up, the health sort of becomes second to the professional life, or second to the other things which are important, not important. We will decide it later. But in this podcast, when I say the word health, what comes to your mind?
Yeah. So for me, health was always about being physically fit, not experiencing any muscle pains or back pain. Only this, like, health was limited to this, and maybe not falling sick too often. If I'm like not falling sick too often, or if I'm not catching these seasonal
Diseases.
cough, cold very easily, then I used to feel okay, fine, I'm healthy. That was my
So, the definition
perception.
of health as we are growing up is just about not getting affected by the infection or the diseases, the
Bacteria,
bacteria, the
virus.
virus. I mean, you have hit the nail on the head. So, as we are growing up, this is the definition of health, and not about what we have to do to keep the health that we had when we were kids, when we were growing up, to keep the same pace when we get into the adulthood. So, in that, I think, Aditi, all these minerals, nutrients, and the diet becomes very important.
Yes. So I think when we grow, we'll touch base upon health during childhood at some point. But my experience, and also based on talking to a lot of people, uh, as adults, when we talk about good health, we are talking about losing some weight, eating food that helps us lose weight. So it's always about weight somehow, whether we want it or not, whether we are pressured by our peers or our surroundings or not. The constant thing that remains in mind, especially for women, I don't know, I cannot speak for men, but especially for women, we are always thinking about, okay, how much weight did I gain, how much weight did I lose. So in that, when trying to do that, we end up somehow eating some good food, I would say, like salads,
Okay.
eating a proper diet, at least for some time. We end up having a good diet plan. We eat greens, we eat the right kind of food, we exercise a little bit, we want to fit in to good clothes. So that's the motivation. That's always been the motivation, at least even for me. The motivation has been, okay, I have to lose a little bit of weight. Even when I was slim, I wanted to lose weight. Even now I want to lose weight. So that's always the motivation. So for that, we end up having a good, at least decently good diet plan. So
I think,
other things,
hold on, Aditi. In when I asked you what comes in your mind when I say the word health, initially you told me that the definition of health is, as we are growing up, to not catch the infection, to not catch the diseases. And then now you are talking about how I can lose weight, or how I can how I'm not gaining weight. It's all about, whether we have gained weight or
loss.
when we are losing it. So it's not about the right nutrients or the minerals, the perspective. I'm talking about the mindset.
Yes.
Initially, when we were kids, I'm again stressing on the childhood. When we were kids, our parents used to take care of us. You have to drink a glass of milk.
Yes.
You have to eat this because this has got vitamin C, this has got vitamin B, vitamin D, and then other proteins are there. So you have to eat green veggies. So our parents used to take care of these nitty-gritties as we were growing up.
Yes.
But even when we are grown up, when we are adults now, the definition of health is not revolving around what we have to eat to gain the right kind of nutrients, minerals. But it is about
losing
the environment has been set up like this. So we are trying to be defensive. We are trying to say, am I gaining weight? Am I losing weight? Am I not catching infections, diseases?
So I'll tell you. So when we, that's what I was coming to. See, if we are following a certain diet, it can somehow also lead to good immunity.
Right.
And lead to not catching cold. And even if we are doing some kind of aerobics, like walking every day, playing something every day, like badminton, etc., that's on one side.
Right.
And that again is done with the motivation of losing weight. But it somehow helps. It helps. But as you said, the diet that we take in, it's not revolving around the kind of nutrients that we should be taking in, which
Right.
is so important as adults, because the nutrients, vitamins, calcium, all of these things, probiotics, so they start to cease.
Right.
We don't have it very natural.
Correct.
Because of our lifestyle, whatever it is.
Right.
So the mindset is not that, okay, today I have to take so and so vitamins, so and so calcium. My diet today includes these vitamins, these nutrients. It's never with that mindset. My diet plan is always like, okay, today I'll not eat maida. Today I'll not eat rice because I don't want that little extra calorie. So it's always that way.
Right.
So you get that point, right?
It's all-
it's not oriented towards nutrients, rather it's oriented towards what will help me lose weight or not gain weight.
Not gain weight.
Yes.
Or
It's limited to that.
or if I have eaten something which is unhealthy, then how I can cut down on that
That's
in
all.
the next day.
Exactly.
So it is only
Compensation.
It's only compensation. It's always looking at from a different viewpoint.
Yes.
It's not head on. Like health, these are the things that we have to do. This is the diet plan that we have to have. If we are at a certain age, these are the things that we have to take. It's not from this point of view, but what we do is we actually do something, and then in return the body reacts in a different way, and then we go all defensive, and then this is deficient, this is
So
not there.
my point of view is, while doing it for the weight also, or for the fitness also, we might accidentally end up consuming the right nutrients, but it's not consciously
It's
done.
not consciously done.
So it's not regular, it's not done frequently enough, maybe.
Right.
So that's where the problem lies.
Okay. So here, viewers, I want to ask Aditi. She faced certain things. We were talking about two point of views, right? One point of view which is very defensive, which is always reactionary. We are reacting to how our body is coping to the environment. And the second viewpoint is being very proactive, like, at this age, these are the things that we have to eat, these are the things that we have to do. So these are two viewpoints. And Aditi, in the last year and a half, has faced certain health issues that I want to ask her how you uh, you know fell into that, and then how are you managing to come out of that. Aditi, you can explain it to viewers.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll tell you about the time I realized it, which was very recent, like hardly a month ago. Okay, so we had a baby recently. He is about 9.5 months now, and a woman actually goes through a woman's body. I'll not just say woman because it's physical. So, woman's body goes through a lot in the course of pregnancy, birth, postpartum, and months after, also after delivering the baby, right? So we end up, already there is a physical wound which is trying to heal,
Right.
and in addition to that there are nutrients, vitamins, everything that might get washed away. So I don't know the technical terms for us, we are not medical experts. This is just based on our
experience.
experience and talking to a lot of people about it, including doctors.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what happened was, my postpartum passed by, and the kind of physical, for me it was less of physical, more of mental. Okay, the I went through a lot of mental challenges postpartum, which is 8 weeks after delivering baby, and even after that there was lot of anxiety, lot of I think anybody who has a baby will relate, a lot of crying, unnecessary, like suddenly start crying, and a lot of depressive symptoms, like we own we don't know why we are feeling a certain way, because everything is so good, baby is nice, baby is healthy, baby is happy, husband is very supportive, parents are there to support, everything is fine. So why am I feeling this way? My work is going on fine, so why am I feeling so sad, so depressed? I never had an explanation for it. So initial months after delivery, women expect this.
Right.
Women expect to be chemical locha, we call it in the Munna Bhai MBBS language, right? Chemical locha, we expect that something has happened to us, we are just not getting enough sleep, we are just dealing with so much pressure, so it'll happen, this is how it should be. But even after 7 months, 8 months of having baby, of having a normal routine, of having decent sleep, even then I was not able to deal with it. There
Okay.
have been instances where
Yeah.
Sujay also was like clueless what's happening. He's
happening?
tried so much, but then I used to just sit in my room and cry and cry and cry. And when he asked why, what happened, is it this, is it that, I used to say I don't
No
know.
answers,
I
yeah.
have no idea. I don't know.
Right.
So maybe I'll continue with how I discovered.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened is, this was a on and off thing. Okay, and for women there is another thing called periods, right? So periods are always associated with emotional mood swings. So those things also come into your mind. Okay, maybe I now have a baby, now periods have resumed, so maybe the mood swings have gotten worse, so we also relate it to that.
Right. Right.
So we ignore, like, all these things, we just keep on ignoring, thinking, okay, maybe because of that, maybe because of that, and just keep it aside.
Right.
So months passed, and I think our baby was 7.5 or 8 months. As I said, just a month ago, my friend randomly pinged me. And very randomly, she just told me that, Aditi, you just had a baby, and I'm telling you, and I'm telling this information to everyone I know who just had a baby, that please get your vitals checked.
Okay.
Please get a blood test done and check your vitamins, vitamin B12, vitamin D3, and then how your
Body's
doing,
behaving.
overall, how you're doing overall. So just get your vitals done.
Blood test.
Blood test basically, including blood pressure. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, blood pressure, I think we end up getting it done once in a while, but
Yeah.
it's these blood tests which you cannot do at home. There is no apparatus to do it at home, right? Kit to do at home. So she suggested that. I said, yeah, okay, thanks for telling. I did not associate that information she gave with my own incidents, which I
Right.
had faced in the
Right.
last few months. Then 1 week, 2 weeks passed, and again I had that incident where I was feeling very depressed. And outside, I'll be happy, I'll be, talkative, I'll be having fun. You will
Yeah.
not realize.
Yeah.
But suddenly, I'll be sitting in my room crying and crying and crying. And then one thought occurred. And that night, I somehow managed. Sujay somehow consoled me.
I think, can I just pause and
Yes,
then...
yes.
These are the things which are not initialized in our brain. That pre-pregnancy, pregnancy, delivery, postpartum, as Aditi is explaining, the different phases from pre-pregnancy to postpartum, and then after that, nurturing a child. How a woman's body and mind, both the things go through. We are not told, even by doctors or health experts or medical practitioners. The seed is not planted in our brain that something like this can happen. You can expect something like this. So when Aditi was experiencing these things, we were clueless as to, where to start.
Yeah.
And I was talking about the two viewpoints, right? These two viewpoints are not there here because this is a different viewpoint altogether. This is a third viewpoint which we are not. Our brain is not initialized. At least somebody, if somebody can put that seed in the brain of the woman or the family, that during pregnancy or during this particular time, something like this can happen. So expect this is normal, and you have to go through certain tests. So when Aditi is explaining these things, I'm recollecting, I'm trying to go there, and what we could have done, or how was the situation, and how we managed to find this. Aditi will explain that after I stop. So Aditi, how did you find this? Because I'm talking about the third viewpoint. So I think the third viewpoint is what you will be touching on right now. Yes.
Yeah, so it was very, I would say, by chance. I don't know. The things just, it's like, I like to put it this way, the universe just conspired
Right.
to help me improve my health.
Right.
That's how I put it. Because my friend sending that message, and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
1 or 2 weeks later, I going through that depressive phase again. And I'm me remembering her message the right time, because we somehow we exchange messages, we might forget, but me connecting that to her message. And what I did instantly was I googled. I think our generation is
Has that-
Google is a blessing, according
Exactly.
to me.
Exactly.
It can be a curse sometimes, but for me, for us, a lot of times it has been a blessing. So what I did, I just quickly typed my symptoms. I said feeling depressive after having baby, feeling crying a lot. And then it gave very usual answers like postpartum depression. That's a very known term, and I think people. This session is this podcast is not about that, so I'll not cover
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You can Google it. It's a very important thing to know.
No.
But yeah, I googled, and that's what came. But I felt no, that did not answer.
It did not answer, right?
Did not answer. So then what I did, I googled what my friend told. I googled which vitamin causes depression like symptoms,
Right.
which deficiency causes continuous crying, and those
Right, right.
specific search terms I added, that phrase I added. And that's when I got results that vitamin B12 and vitamin D3 deficiencies had the exact same symptoms that
Symptoms.
I was experiencing.
Right.
Exact same symptoms. So the very next morning, I told Sujay, I want to get my blood tested. I
Yeah.
want to, rule it out. If this is just a mental thing, then if I rule out the clinical part, that is, if
Correct.
I rule out that okay, I don't have any deficiency, then I can concentrate on the mental health part only.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I'm only concentrating on mental health part,
Yeah.
that
What
do meditation, take a break,
I
those
think that is
things.
what is suggested by most people that we visited.
Yeah, I'll actually, maybe I'll continue with that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I told Sujay first thing the next morning, I want to do this. So the same day, it was Monday, we both were working. So what we did, we dropped Arjun, our baby, at my mother's, and I also told my mother that evening we will pick him up a little bit late. And that evening, very evening, we went to a neighborhood hospital, and there was no general practitioner available, so we went to a gynecologist only. We just wanted I
An
don't know what
opinion.
it's called, but we wanted some doctor to recommend the blood test, because the
Right.
labs will not take it otherwise.
Correct.
So we went to her and told her that okay, I've been experiencing so and so, so we want to get my blood tested. And the first thing she said was, meet a
Psychiatrist.
psychiatrist. They will help you with therapy, this and that. See, I don't have any problem visiting a psychiatrist. I don't have any problem undergoing therapy.
Yeah.
I very much support that step. But I insisted that I will do it. But first, I want to personally rule out any kinds of deficiencies. And I also told that I feel, because my
Yeah.
father is a doctor, and I feel that this thing should be done. This is not like very random.
Right.
It's based on some experiences,
Right.
right? So she did not is it called prescription? No,
Should not.
something like there's a formal word for it. She did not give me any tests. Just before, she kept on insisting that go meet this psychiatrist. And then finally Sujay, very straightforward, said, can you just write it, can you just write down that she needs to undergo these blood tests, we'll just get it done, we will
Yeah.
meet the psychiatrist, but please give. It was like a very forced
Yeah.
request. And she's like, yeah, okay, fine, because we did not listen to her, right? She just did very random tests, and she gave very generic opinion of anything. And then, yeah, after insisting like 2 to 3 times, she just finally gave, okay, you get this tested. And yeah, then
And here, when Aditi is saying all these things, it's nothing against the health practitioners or doctors. It's just that something which is very important as we are dealing with vitals here, the things that are there in our body. If there is a deficiency, we have to get it tested at the right time, so that if anything that is deficient in our body will lead to something mentally or physically, and it can lead to depression, and then nobody should suffer.
yeah, so
The most important thing is
exactly.
nobody should suffer. So in this process, if we can go back one step and then get the vitals checked, get our BP checked, because most of the things that happen to us as adults are all related to what is there in our body already, and then what we are consuming,
Yeah.
and then what we are doing, like exercise, professional life. So it's all interlinked. All these 3 things or 4 things that are there are all interlinked, and then how our body is behaving is also the result of all these 3 4 things that are there in and around us. So getting those vitals checked, I don't know, I mean, that time, that
my thing is,
Aditi, that time we pressed the right pedal and then we asked for these tests. Otherwise, if we had listened to the health practitioner, we might as well ended
See,
up
exactly.
getting to the psychiatrist, and then the whole process would have
Slightly
taken
changed.
us to a different viewpoint, and not from the actual viewpoint that we have to do.
I'll come to that. So what I'm trying to say here, maybe I also have, if any health practitioners listening to this, I have a request for them also in the end of the podcast. But what I'm saying is, it's not like, it's not something as huge as an MRI scan where the doctor says, why do you want to waste money on that?
Right.
No, I was asking for a simple blood test. And when I, the patient, for them, I'm the patient, right? If I'm okay
Asking
being
for it.
pricked and, blood taken out of me and being tested, I think it's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you can understand our concern. Maybe the doctor is only right, but at least listen to us once, right? Anyway, after insisting, so many times, we finally got my blood taken. And the person said, like, morning you come and you give on empty stomach and all that. I did all that. And 2-3 days later, because one test needed more time to have the results,
Yeah.
so after 2 to 3 days time, and in those 3 to 4 days, I had an incident where I again felt depressive. Again, I was crying a lot.
Yeah.
So then the results came. I went to the same hospital, the same gynecologist. She was not available, so I had to meet another person. It was a long result because I got lot of tests done.
Yeah.
Right? So just to rule out everything, we just got everything done. It's like a basic health checkup.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So he did not go through my results. I was so angry that day. He did not go through my results. It was like a booklet. How we read newspaper. Maybe we even read newspaper with more
Concentration.
attention.
Yeah.
He just did like this. And then, nothing is there. And then he knew my symptoms because doctor had also written something about it. He said, meet that psychiatrist. And I had seen the results. Sujay also had shared the results with him. My vitamin D3 was not just deficient. This is deficiency. My vitamin D3, this is deficient. My D3 was here.
It was in the red part.
It was extremely low, critically low.
Yeah.
And then I told the doctor, okay, but I'm not a doctor, but maybe
something-
we feel
Yeah.
that D3 is not okay.
Yeah. That is what you suggested to the doctor.
I had to
Please-
tell him,
please read the-
maybe my D3, like, I don't know,
because I think in the report there is the range,
yes,
and there is the actuals.
Yes.
So you can make out any common person who is a
the
literate
range,
person.
lower percent, the deficient lower level is in 2 figures. Mine was single figure. That do the lowest of the single figure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's alarming, and any
For me,
health
it was
practitioner should have taken a proactive step and should have suggested you and then
Anyway,
guided
so
you.
he did not see, and when I told him, he initially said, this is normal. Then I wondered, like, if it is normal, then why have they written it as that deficiency level should not have been present only.
Yeah.
Then obviously I googled and it showed that it's extremely deficient, and
Yeah.
even the symptoms were very much matching to mine. B12 was also on the
Borderline.
range. Yeah, it was borderline. It was not deficient, but borderline. Then I was a little bit surprised by his comments, and it was visible on my face maybe. And then he immediately suggested a injection. I was like, no, I mean, I went
Injection, I mean, what injection was
for
that?
D3. I asked him if I can take any D3 supplements. It's
So
very common.
this is after you telling him, please look at the report again. So he looked at the report and then he was like, okay, I mean, this is very low.
No, he did not say low.
Okay.
I said maybe it is low. He said no, this is normal only.
Okay.
But despite saying it is normal, he said, let's give you an injection, because I said, okay, maybe it's normal.
So it's like, let me just, tell you. It's not normal. I mean, it is okay, Aditi, but you can have this injection. Was that his response?
Maybe, because I asked him if it's like below the recommended level, can I take some supplement? Because, having as part of pregnancy also, we are given like iron supplements, calcium supplement. Just, can I take D3 supplement, just one tablet and see? They're like, I'll give you an injection. I'm like, why an injection? right? Then I told him I had gone alone because Sujay was with Arjun at home. I did not want to expose Arjun unnecessarily to the hospital, environment. So I said, no, I'll talk to my husband and take a decision. I'll decide by evening. And I immediately came home, and I told I'm not going to that hospital again for my sake. And we decided we'll go to another hospital
with the same
with the
reports.
same report. Shall I take that name or no?
No, I mean,
We'll avoid taking
yeah,
names.
we went to a different hospital.
The next day we went to a different hospital, and there the doctor very patiently looked through. He also said that, and this was not a gynecologist, it was a different specialist, endocrinologist, who are experts in thyroid and those kind of
Yeah.
things. So he said, okay, it is
That was again a proactive decision that we took. Instead of going to a physician or some doctor, we thought, let's go to an endocrinologist
Yeah,
who
and
will
my
understand the
Yeah.
report, and then who can give us proactive measures, steps, and then we can sort of get into the process of correcting what is deficient in Aditi's body.
Yeah, and thankfully my dad is a doctor, so he also could recommend the right kind of doctor.
Yeah.
So it was a combined decision
Yeah.
that we chose this particular specialist, and he went through the report very patiently, and he did acknowledge that the levels are quite low.
Yeah.
But he also mentioned that ideally D3 deficiency, or such low figures, should not cause depression like symptoms. But he also said he gave a certain supplement, D3 supplement. I think it's a very commonly known supplement. So he just recommended me to take it for 8 weeks and observe and see if I have these recurring sort of symptoms.
Yeah.
And if it reduces, well and good. If not, then I can meet a therapist. And then I was like, okay, at least the doctor heard me out.
Yeah.
He
Acknowledged.
He patiently read the report.
Yeah.
So then he also said you can take a walk in the hot sun between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So it was just additional things you can do to increase
Yeah.
the D3 levels naturally. And since my B12 was borderline, he also recommended to take B12 once a week or so.
So Aditi, after his prescription, the doctor's prescription, what change you experienced?
Yeah, so since I had just felt depressed like a day before, the day before when I went to that other doctor who did not read my report, I faced the same, like I was crying, I was feeling sad, I had no reasons. So I took the medicines this other second doctor told me, and then I gave it time because it's I don't know, there's a term for it, like I maybe
You have to settle.
no, I'm
medicines
saying
have
like
to-
some people, in fact doctors only, like they have this thing, like there's a word for it, right? ಬರೀ ಪೆಪರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ರು ಆರಾಮ್ ಆಗ್ತದ, ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಪೆಪರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡುದು, ಪ್ಲಸಿಬೋ. Yeah, so some patients are used to medicines, so even if you tell them you're fine, they will not take it. You give them some peppermint kind of medicine, they will feel good. So I'm not that kind of person. I hardly take medicines if not needed. So I wanted to give it time. I did not immediately say ki I'm feeling good.
So you waited for 5-6
so,
days?
And as usual, my thing is more like periodic incidents, right? So it was never like the whole week I'll be feeling depressed. So it was always like instances where I felt depressed. Other times I used to feel all happy, fine, everything. So I gave it 1 week, 2 weeks time, and I literally felt nothing. No depressive symptoms, no crying unnecessarily. And I used to feel angry a lot. And Sujay knows how I have reacted in certain silliest moments, and he saw a decline in those. Right? Because I used to feel that my personality has become like that. No, this whole thing was causing that. He saw that I was becoming more and more patient. I was not reacting very swiftly. So overall it helped a lot, and I even like told him that, see, I am feeling good now.
Better.
And you know what I did? I have an Instagram page. So I always share these kind of things a lot. Like I write big posts there. I don't speak, but I write a lot. And then I wrote a long post, 3 to 4 slide post about this experience of mine. And you will not believe the number of women who replied to me saying, exactly, Aditi, same. Exactly. I faced the same thing. After my baby, I used to feel depressed. Months together passed. I did not know why I was feeling this way. My husband felt helpless. My family felt helpless. We got tested for every random thing. Ultimately, what we found out was I was deficient in B12 or D3.
So many cases.
So many. Like I think I have got messages from at least 7 to 8 friends of mine.
That is.
Yeah, and in my friends group only. I don't know how many
Yeah.
more were there, but my friends group only. So the point here is, and in addition to that, I got a message from a friend, Indian friend, but who lives in the UK, and he told that in the United Kingdom, after having a baby, the mother is prescribed all these tests mandatorily.
I was talking about the seed that should be planted in the new mother's brain or the family's brain. This is what.
Yeah, and he just
was talking
validated my thought process, because my thought process was always postpartum we have to go for one checkup to the doctor. If we have a C-section, then they will check if stitches are fine, BP is okay, like all the basic things they do. During that checkup, if the doctor, if the gynecologist, if possible, can ask us to get some tests done, like blood tests done for any deficiency, so that we are already taking iron and calcium supplements. So if there is anything else to add on to it, then we can be asked to take that also. Because what my friend, one of the friends told is, her situation was treated as a postpartum depression for the longest time. I think she told me that after her son turned 1.5 years old or 2 years old, that's when she actually got to know that it was not all that, it was just deficiency. So imagine being wrongly diagnosed or diagnosed so late, and the person goes through so much of a hard phase, thinking it's her mental problem. And mentally we are doing everything. We are doing meditation, we are taking breaks, we are going for a trip, everything is happening, but we are still not able to deal with it. Then we start questioning ourselves, our confidence goes down.
Exactly.
So a simple test, if it's
a simple prescription or
simple blood test, if it's
suggestion
recommended,
or a recommendation by the health practitioner. I mean, as I said, nobody should suffer.
Nobody
and
should
after
suffer.
After the child's 1.5 years or 2 years, then you get to know that it was because of the deficiency of these two or one of the two.
And imagine what the child goes through. After a certain age, the child sees the mother. Sees the mother, she's facing, like they start developing mentally, right? They observe these things, like why is my mom crying? So this is not good for the family. And imagine if, like me, I used to snap immediately if something there was no reason. I used to snap, and that used to affect Sujay, and that affected the whole family. These small things can bring this kind of an atmosphere down, like the tensed atmosphere down. And I mean, it's good to talk about mental health, but I think it's also
there is a process.
It's right step, I feel personally, as a patient who went through this, that the first step should be removing all the clinical part of it, like just pehle wo clear karo.
Exactly. And that should be the process. I mean, that is what you have to do. Rule out everything first, and then beyond that, if there is something which is not functioning right, then you can go to the right departments and then get your body checked, your brain checked, and if there are
Exactly.
any mental health issues, then again it's a different ball game altogether. Then you are meeting a therapist or a psychologist or a
So
psychiatrist.
imagine if I had just went to the therapist, and they will, have all the talk and
Yeah.
everything. Maybe at that moment I'll feel something. They will ask me to do some exercises. I'll do it at home also because I follow recommendations. Then because of this deficiency, probably I'll never feel better. Then I'll again go back. Maybe at some point I'll be given some pills. I don't know.
Yeah.
And but it's not
It's not hitting the root
resolving the
cause,
root cause.
right?
And I'll tell Sujay one more symptom. Okay, this was very strong, and this was just before I told him that I want to get tested. It was just one day before. I think our older viewers will know our Dandeli trip.
Yeah.
We had gone to Dandeli just for a ride. Um, that day, that morning, I kept telling Sujay, I want to go to the nature. I must have repeated it like 10 times. He suggested, where do you want to go? I don't know. Dharwad, there's no nature. We are like a concrete place now, right? But I kept repeating, I want to go to the nature. And he was like, do you want just a nice casual outing? Do you want to go to a movie? We're like, no, I want to go to the nature. And then I only told him I want to go to Dandeli because we have done it before, that one long ride and back. I said I want to go to Dandeli. Then we went outside for lunch. We again dropped Arjun to my mom's place. Thankfully, we have that support. And then we had lunch outside. And again, I said, I want to go to the nature. I want to go to Dandeli. Okay, I kept repeating this, and then finally he was sportive enough to say, yes, let's go. It was hot. It was scorching hot. We took a long ride at 1:30 p.m. We left. Long ride to Dandeli. We were there at the eco park for hardly 1 hour, 45 minutes. Ride back.
Came back.
It made me feel good.
Yeah.
And my body was telling me, get vitamin D.
Yeah.
Go
Exactly.
out in the hot sun. Go to the nature. It's needed for you. I have never had this strong. It was a very, very weird urge. And I'm more of an urban traveler. I like to go out, see monuments and these kind. I hardly have the urge, such a strong urge to go to the nature. But I kept saying that. It was very, for me, it was very abnormal. I was like, why am I saying this? But I want to do it. So that probably also helped me when I was doing the whole Google search thing. That also helped me, like me being aware of my odd feelings,
Yeah.
my odd urges.
Yeah.
Not wrong, but just out of the normal for me. So I was very much attentive to those things.
Yeah. You were listening to.
I was listening to why I'm feeling this way.
Yeah. What your
I was
body is
analyzing
telling.
it. So when the D3 deficiency came, this clicked for me.
Yeah.
And
And then things will fall in place after
they
that.
just started falling in place.
Yeah.
And now I think I'm yet to complete the 8-week dose that the doctor told. But
You are in what week now? I mean, of the dose?
I think I have 2 more left.
Two
if
more
I'm
left.
not
So it
wrong.
is 6th week now? 5 or 6th week. So what is the drastic change that you see from 0th week to the 5th week?
Not one instance of that crying.
Awesome.
Where
Awesome. I can second her on that.
Yeah, I mean, because crying is good. It's good for the health. But crying, for what reason?
Yeah.
I could never find out the reason. And I felt so horrible. And there's always that feeling of being dragged down, sitting. And I did not feel like waking up in the morning. I used to wake up at about 7, and I used to just lie on the bed because Sujay usually is with Arjun in the morning. And I just lie down on the bed looking at the ceiling. These are typical depressive symptoms.
Yeah.
Okay, and these are the symptoms which I have at least read on Google, which says when you have D3 deficiency, this is what
Can
usually
happen.
are the symptoms. Same for B12 also, somewhat similar. So, and then maybe now I can say that I have not had that, and I feel elated already.
Awesome.
One of my friends actually, when I shared my story on Instagram, she said, "You just wait 1 month. You will see such a drastic difference because I have experienced it. You will see it. Like just
Awesome.
taking these supplements, it's going to make such a huge difference for you, and it has happened already." And I also want to mention, maybe now or later, about not limiting it to women.
Yeah.
Do you want me to continue?
I think I'll just
Yeah, you
add.
take it and then we can come to that.
Yeah. I'll reiterate, nobody should suffer. I mean, when I consider myself, I keep myself first, and then I tell myself that you should not suffer first, and then it is your family, and then if you can broaden the horizon, the entire society or everybody out there should not suffer. So listen to your body, listen to your brain, listen to your heart.
Yeah.
Your body is continuously sending signals, and then when you are suffering, when you are in that web of suffering, body is still sending you signals. So try to hear, listen, and maybe talk to your family members, your husband or your wife, or a very close knit of people who are there. Just talk to them and then try to diagnose it one step at a time. And don't take drastic decisions that it's depression and I'm not right, I'm not okay, and then you go on to pills, and it will not solve. Take one step, baby steps at a time. Maybe with pregnant women, postpartum, or just general men, women, whosoever it may be, if you feel something is not right, your body is sending signals, even though you're trapped, try to come out of that trap, and then maybe for half an hour, maybe half a day, you will have that small amount of clarity, and then talk to people who are giving you good suggestions. Don't take drastic steps, take baby steps, diagnose one step at a time, and then, as Aditi said, from 0th week to 5th or 6th week, this drastic change, I am very happy. I am happy that what I used to see her, she used to suffer. I mean, unnecessary, somebody is crying. I was like, what is happening to you? Did you get hurt? Or what is going on?
Is there any kind of pressure?
Is there any kind of pressure, work pressure, or you're not able to handle the personal life, the family life? What is happening? And the entire family also gets helpless.
Yeah.
I want to help her. I want to help my family. But what to do? Where to start? And then seeing her, we took baby steps, one step at a time, one diagnosis, and then taking small medications which are not drastic,
Yeah.
which will not help, which will not impact your brain, which will not impact your body. Such kind of steps. And then coming to this 5th week, 6th week, I'm like very happy, and the universe, पूरा कायनात आपको जुटाने में लग जाता है, that you have to go to that peaceful spot, that happy spot. So you are in the right track, and that journey will yield you fruits, will yield you sweet things, happiness, memories. So nobody should suffer. And Aditi, coming to this point, I mean, I'm very happy. And then doing this podcast, it's again one step or two step or three levels above. She coming out, in front of the camera, talking about this. It takes lot of guts, and the 5 weeks or the 6 weeks that you have gradually tried to change yourself, try to change your lifestyle. I think it's an awesome thing. I'm very happy.
Yeah. And it's not, I just want to repeat, it's not wrong to feel sad. It's not wrong to cry. It's not wrong to snap also sometimes. We are human beings. But
can happen.
There's a thin line. And only we can judge that thin line.
Yeah.
Only we know, because we know ourselves since the time of, we developed our mind, right? We know where we are being a little bit different than usual. So only we can do it for ourselves. So if we don't, I mean, I cannot expect Sujay to do something for me. I have to do it for myself.
Yeah.
here the decisions we took was by me, and
Yeah.
he supported me in those decisions.
Yeah.
And one more thing I want to tell, I am a short-tempered person, that is understood, but it was going beyond control. And now today I can sit here and say I can regulate my emotions so well now. When I say regulate, we are supposed to, like, whenever there's an instant urge of doing something, we have to always take a deep breath and pause, and then decide whether I want to take that step of snapping at someone or crying or whatever or not. That regulation was, even though I knew the steps, I was not able to do it back then. Now I can do it. So I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad about that. So one more point here, I think we touched base this mainly
Women-centric.
for women, especially the women who have given birth recently. And for them, I would say it's compulsory. I don't think your doctors will recommend that, because my friends also told me none of the doctors recommended them to take this test. But you take it. Please take it for your sake. If you rule out that, if you don't get any deficiencies, that's the best thing, right? You ruled it out. But please take it. That's message number 1. Message number 2 is, this is not limited to women, and this is not limited to women who gave birth firstly, not limited to women, and not limited to age, okay, and not limited to gender. Men can also experience this. And I'll give you an instance. Another friend, because my Instagram post, like, it got a lot of responses. So a friend told me in Bangalore in IT, her colleague was experiencing depression symptoms.
Male colleague.
Male colleague, yeah. And he had actually thought that this is more of mental health related, and he even attended the sessions. And there are help groups, like where you sit in a round circle, and it's called some circle. So you sit and then you exchange information, you talk it out. So if you have someone to share, maybe it comes down. So something like he had joined those circles as well, but it still did not come down. And she herself had gone through a similar thing, a deficiency related instance in the past. So she said, why don't you get tested? After seeing him suffer, she just said, why don't you get it tested? He seemed to be extremely low in B12. And the moment he started taking those medicines, he felt perfectly fine. So that's how important it is.
And then I was talking about listen to right people, right? The friend of Aditi who suggested her male colleague get these things tested. These are not drastic things to be done. So listen to those suggestions which will help you, and then which will try to, these are again, somebody who is suggesting you baby steps, please take it.
Yeah, first baby steps.
First baby steps.
Take the
and
bigger
then,
steps.
See, because where to start is a big question. So listen to such people who are giving you sound advice, baby steps. Listen to those people, because it will help you come out of the stress and any kind of suffering that you are going through. It will help you at least try to see it from a different viewpoint. Yeah. So this is a long podcast. I hope you have enjoyed it. I'll not use the word hope. You must have enjoyed it. And this is again straight from the heart on Sujay Jalwadi channel. So I will request you, please share, like, subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon, because you will get
notifications.
Yes. Like, share and subscribe. Bye-bye.